My top 3 most important tips for beginner bikepackers. I thought making this video would be fun because on my video about my 3 biggest mistakes, I got a lot of nice comments and people told me that it was very helpful. So therefore I thought sharing what did work for me would be also maybe helpful and fun to watch. So let's start. And for the one new here, welcome! My name is Elizabeth and on my channel I share all kinds of bike and travel videos, so thank you for joining. Now let's dive in my top 3 most important tips for when you start with bikepacking. And just to be clear here, as you can also see in my mistakes video, I'm also still in beginner phase. So all of your tips are very welcome. So if you have them, please share them in the comments down below. I start with number 3, which is about navigation. And navigation is of course a really important part of your trip. And if you use your phone for navigation like I do, I have some tips. Well, first of course, make sure that your battery is good enough to last at least a big part of the day. And then bring a power bank, which is helpful for that last part if your battery is dying. So my tip here is don't rely too much on restaurants and cafes to charge your phone because, well, in my experience, these restaurants and cafes are never really there when you need them the most. So have a good power bank and a good battery in your phone in general. A second tip here is don't use Google Maps to navigate. As in my experience, it sometimes will work, but on other moments, it will lead you to a highway made for cars. And believe me, I've been there. These moments, it will always start to rain or something else, which is not a lot of fun. And there are a lot of better options. So I use, for example, the app OsmAnd Maps. I will link that down below. And it works for me really nice. To navigate on location, I do use Google Maps and also Maps.me. And I always, in advance of my trip, download the maps so I can use them also offline when I don't have internet. And lastly, I always have a real map of the route that I'm biking so that if my phone dies or something happens, I always have the real map of the place where I am, so I just feel safe. My second tip is about baggage. And nope, I'm not gonna talk about overpacking and that you shouldn't do that and blah blah blah. Nope. I just advise you to Google some packing lists and make it your own. And then of course, after your first trip, you gotta think about, okay, I will leave this the next time, I will take this the next time. So that's just really personal and not what I want to talk about now. But what I do want to say is that you should think, besides what you pack, also about how you pack it. Because where you leave your stuff in your bags will make your bike life so much easier or so much harder. So in my case, I use packing cubes, and before I'm going on a bike trip, I literally draw my bags and design a layout so that I don't have to repack my bags over and over when I'm on the road. My last and most important tip is remember it should be fun. Yes, going on a bikepacking trip can be hard, especially when roads get tough or the weather isn't that good. And honestly, the good moments wouldn't be as good if there weren't also moments of struggle. But it's not a contest. So if it isn't fun anymore, do something about it. If it's, for example, raining all day, take a rest day or take a train. And if the route is longer than you had expected, just make it shorter or take a train. Or if sleeping in a tent isn't really what you thought it would be, take a hotel or a hostel. So design it in a way that you like it. For the ones that saw my backpacking trip to Berlin, you know that I learned this the hard way. As it was raining for days and on some moments it was also really cold, I decided after long hesitating to call my grandparents who were there in that area to help me out. So I learned it the hard way. So my advice from my own experience, don't be too proud or feel like a failure if something like that happens. It should be fun, like really. So that were my 3 tips. I hope you found them helpful or that you at least enjoyed watching this video. And if you did, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And if you have any tips for others, please leave them down below in the comments. And then I'll say see you in the next one. So